afternoon, and they sit there flipping through what you've been on the internet and everything. Sure. I
Yeah.
believe that. I've seen it.
Yeah, the criminals got all the authority. They're stalking you, and they're listening to your phone calls to help them stalk you more.
Yeah, I kind of figured out my neighbors were in on some things because I would listen to them through the wall, and I would hear them talking about me through my wall. Because my bedroom was right where the living room is. And I would just hear them talking about me, bashing me on this or that. Right? So, I mean, I got sick of it. You know what I mean? Because when I was sitting in the hallway and everything,
What the fuck? Oh.
talk, hello? I was just talking about me. So the one day,
What do you mean?
I went over
What
there
that?
and I knocked on their door. I knocked on my door and I told them what to get up and they didn't even say something. I mean, they were so scared. Like, she didn't even want to come out the door. Like, 'cause I was so heated, I was so mad. And I'm like, you know what, come out in the hallway. I was ready to really talk them up. And I haven't heard them say nothing about me ever since then.
See, that's why I'm saying, yeah. Most people would just go off and shoot the frig out of these people. They just shoot them all up.
Oh,
It
that
stands to reason.
that's
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
totally.
That's what's happening is there's people getting a gun and going out and like that attorney Myron May, he was being stalked so bad, gang stalked, and he was telling everybody what was happening and how people were paying people to use his own family against him, stalking him, and he wanted help, and he did his last video on YouTube and he prayed to God that because of his not having enough faith in God or whatever, and he took a gun and went to a college and started shooting people. You're talking about an attorney, and he started shooting
It was
people.
too much for him to handle.
Yeah, he started
Life
right.
was falling apart.
He started shooting the people who were stalking him at the campus, and the cops showed up and shot him 24 times and killed him. That's what they're doing to people.
And the public needs to know this. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? The public needs to know this. Yeah, they really do. This is what the public has
Because
to know.
you know what? If you really think about it, the reason why you're being gang stalked is because you're doing research and because you're like trying to spread the word. Like those are some of the reasons why people are being gang stalked. So once you spread the word and let everybody know, you know what I mean? Like that's what they don't want.
Stop. I'll take you for a walk when I get home.
Yeah, I mean,
What kind of dog is that, Donna?
Oh, he's so cute. He's a little Yorkie Schnauzer. He's a little white dog. His name is Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg. Yeah, but yeah, and people, and a lot of people who gang stalk people, they say, well, I just followed the person, or I just checked on him out, I just stalked him a little bit. I just went outside, and participated a little bit, and I don't believe that. I think the people who, if you participate in stalking somebody, and they're being gang stalked, and all this stuff is happening to them, you're doing the same thing as anybody else who's a part of it.
Well, that's what I told my little old lady stalkers. I said, when I was in jail, I saw all these little old ladies stuck in jail and couldn't get out over stupid shit like every time you walk in the room they call. I said, gang stalking's a felony. You're charged just as much as the other people. And they just stared at me. It's true. I mean, if you have somebody on tape that they coughed every time you walked in the room, 56 times, then you can be charged with gang stalking along with everybody else. It's no different. It's psychological abuse. It's the same thing.
It's a really, I always tell people it's 50 times more, it's 50 times more worse than what they think it is. Like if somebody agrees, if somebody who's not getting gang stalk says, okay, I believe gang stalk, at least this is how it feels, this is what at least the gang stalking that I go through. People say, oh, they're being gang stalked, but it's 50 to 100 times worse than what they think it is. If they haven't been through it, then they got no idea in the world what they're even looking at. Like, this is something that you have to experience for yourself before you pass judgment on it. It's just like if we haven't been to Vietnam, we don't know what the hell those people went through. if you haven't been gang stalked, you don't have a clue in the world what is even happening there if you haven't experienced it. You know.
Okay, so Don, I have another question for you, Don. Okay, when you take the room and you sleep on your ceiling and stuff, is that supposed to like knock the camera loose or something?
Yeah, because apparently these cameras are extremely tiny,
Yeah.
and so they adhere to wherever they stick them. So get your corners and like as if you're sweeping the floor. You know, get the corners, sweep your ceiling. They say to constantly sweep your ceiling and the corners and anywhere that has a little groove around up in there. Sweep it real good. And around your ceiling fans, keep cleaning them because people have lost those cameras doing that.
So, okay, the camera is so tiny. How do they even like connect it into like electricity or anything like that?
Honey, they go off of like a Wi-Fi. Don't you know what the cops, they use what they call Stingray. Okay, cops can listen in on your phone just off of Stingray alone. You know the cameras on all your street corners?
Yeah.
Okay, they run off of those cameras. It's Wi-Fi. So their cameras that they put in the homes are running off of the same Wi-Fi. The same thing.
So they don't need electricity or anything like that to run?
No. No, you can go with a few $1,000s. You can go into Best Buy and you can get wireless cameras for your home. And you can monitor your home everywhere. You can do it off your cable company. So they're running it, cops run it off their system. Most of these cops are in on it. A fax machine. I hear a fax machine.
So I had a feeling that somebody was watching me. I just had the feeling that they, like, I
can feel it.
You know, home. Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah. Yep.
Feel it.
Yeah, I caught my gang stalkers. I mean, I caught them red-handed.
Because I know
And
when somebody's been in my house, because like when I come in my house, I take my shoes off. You know what I mean? So when I'm walking around barefoot, I feel like there's dirt. Like somebody's been in my house, like with their shoes. You know what I mean?
I'm the same way. Oh, yeah.
You
know what you do? I got mad. This is what I did. I got really mad. And I was like, every time I left, they were in my apartment because, like, let me blow you out of the water with this one. I got mad, and my red favorite glasses that I always used to wear, these red glasses, and they were missing. And I was furious, tore my house apart. Where the hell are my red glasses? They were next to my bed. I tore everything apart. So they were obviously taken out of my apartment. Well, after I got mad, I told the manager, he got really pissed off because, see, he let my gang stalkers in, and they trashed and took my shit out of my apartment. That's a whole nother story. So my manager's on the hook for that one. It happened 6 months ago. So he's still on the hook for that. That was illegal what they did. And the guy who he let in is the cop who was my gang stalker. And so, they're all in on it. So, long story short, this is months later, I said, my eyeglasses are missing out of my apartment. I don't give a shit. I'm going to tell you they're missing. So he got really pissed off. So that's when they started coming to my apartment all the time. So what I did was I got mad. And so now everybody wears red glasses, and everybody that works here is wearing my red glasses. They think it's a joke. Yeah, really. Yeah, this is real. And so...
Wow.
Yeah. So what I did was I took little nails and I put them on the just above the foot posts on the wall, coming in, going into the kitchen, coming into the living room, and I put fishing cord across it. So if you come in here, you're gonna go flying. Then I put baby powder. I put baby powder down all in there. So if you come in here, you're gonna make tracks after I leave. Then I took umbrellas. Yeah, I said, you want crazy? I'll give you crazy, right? So I took umbrellas and I hung them off the ceiling. And I hung umbrellas upside down. I hung 2 umbrellas, like, balancing each other. And I put a bunch of stuff, like tacks and cans, 2 vegetable cans. And so if they walked in, they were gonna have all that stuff fall on them and leave marks all over and go flying. And so, yeah, I got pissed off. I was just pissed off, so I started doing that. And it was hilarious. But nobody came in here after that because it was too much of a bother. And they wouldn't be able to get slip in and out as quick as I was coming and going, you see. It would take too much time. So, yeah.
My keys and everything. I had, like, the last time I was in the mental hospital, I had to call the hospital for my house keys and everything. I had to get my license like 3 times.
I got new information from you guys. This is really good information for you. You all ready?
Yeah.
Remember we were going to collect some information? Well, my TI friend from California gave me a real good one, and she told me this. This is so on it. Okay? Let me read this to you. Hold on. I wrote it down. Just a brief little thing. Okay, here it is. No, that's okay. They're using people who have mental health problems. And I'm going to tell you why. They're using those people because they don't have a whole lot of self-control. So if they lose it on you and they get too crazy, they're most likely not going to get charged because they've already been deemed with a serious mental illness.
Wow.
And so if they snap, you ever notice, like, you got to be a little touched in the head to be doing some of these things. You know, like a lot of real crazy street theater.
Yeah, yeah. You're telling the truth.
Didn't think of that, did y'all?
Yeah. Well, I got a chance. One of the people.
That's like their, you know what I mean, their cause of saying why you're acting so crazy. All she has to mental health, how she's crazy, this, that, and the third, you know what I mean? It just makes it easier for them to just fight it off.
Right.
Hey, one of the people who have been stalking me for almost 3 years, I got a chance to see them up close and hear them talk, and I realized they were mentally disturbed, like there was something wrong with them. Then another person, another one of them that was stalking me. At the time I didn't know there was something mentally wrong with them, and I've discovered it along the way that they were mentally slow, and I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? And I realized that these people aren't what you like. You know how somebody's following you and stalking you in a car. You can't really know how fucked up they are in their mind. But I was able to discover that these people, like at least a couple of them, were like mentally slow and fucked up and like handicapped and stuff. And it shocked me, but it made everything else make sense.
Yeah, that
I just pray to God. I just pray to God that I don't never have to experience none of that, that type of stuff where I have to go to the psych, to the psych and all that type of stuff. I just,
well, that's one of the roads that they use. So get ready, because I know they were trying that on me the last few months. Yeah. So get ready, because that's one of the avenues they will go down.
that would be my last, that would be my last point right there.
It was the last one for them,
Yeah.
but I caught on to them real fast, and I moved out of their way on that deal. Yeah. So they will try it, though. They'll get people around you to start treating you like you're crazy, and then they'll start.
Like my mom and my daughter, like like both of them, they've been acting like that, telling me that I need to go see a psychiatrist. I'm like, for what? Because I'm strong-minded. I'm too strong-minded. Because my mom goes to a psychiatrist, and I'm like, why do you go to a psychiatrist? And I'm saying, like, there's nothing wrong with her. She just take a lot of pain medication, and
Right.
she's real fit. She's real frittly. Like she's always like over fast, just like stuff like that. But so she keeps telling me, you might need to go see a psychiatrist. And I'm like, for what? Because I'm telling you about the stuff following me and stuff like that. I'm not gonna go.
Yeah, they only need 2 signatures to Baker Act you. So if they can get 2 family members, they will get 2 family members to Baker Act you.
No, that's how they did me. That's how they did me.
Yeah.
They had some worthless doctor, some worthless corrupt doctor. I ended up going on a 37-mile walk, and I'm not going to explain the whole thing. I'll cut it short, but I ended up at the hospital. Right, I ended up at the hospital, and some worthless, fake, corrupt doctor asked me a couple questions, and I just told him both times that I wanted a glass of water, and so he said he accused me of being paranoid, and somehow, like, these people convinced my mother to sign my name basically involuntarily into a psychiatric ward after all I said was I wanted some water, and then the fake, corrupt doctor signed his name on there. And so they got me into the psychiatric ward, and I was there for 10 days, and they were trying to force medication on me while they were gang stalking me the whole time.
It's most common.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's horrible. The stuff I've had to go through, it's horrible. I know all about gang stalking. They had the nurses wearing black shirts and red shirts and you know, the color coding and all this stuff and the mimicking, and you know, they were doing assignments on me while I was being stalked and told they wanted me to take drugs.
It would be another story if they, you know, if they had all the all the TIs in one place, and the role was reversed. I mean, what would they do if TIs got together and started following them?
Right.
What would they do if they started following them home, and they started talking to their family members? You know, say, you know, can I, you know, go back the next day and knock on the door and see their mom there and say, hey, you know, I have to talk to you privately. You know, here's a recording of your son following me yesterday. You know, I'm gonna report him to the police, and I wanted to just let you know ahead of time. You know what you get my picture?
Yeah. Yeah.
What if it was reversed?
It could be. It could be. I told the cops one time. I did call the cops, and I told the cops I was being it was certain people who had been stalking me for a long time, and I got tired of it, and I called the cops, and I told the cops that I was being stalked by these people, and they kept doing it over again every day, and I told them I was being gang stalked. And the guy I was talking to said he had never really dealt with it before, and I said, well, basically it's an extremist thing. It's when an extremist group, you know, is stalking you. I just got tired of it. I got tired of seeing the same raggedy-ass fucking people stalking me every single day of my life. You know?
Yeah, but you didn't get anywhere, did you?
No, I didn't.
No, so you went to the wrong source.
Right, they don't do
They're
anything.
going to our family members, and they're going to our neighbors, and they're discrediting us with our neighbors. Well, my gang stalker, literally, his neighbors don't know that he got fired from the sheriff's office because he got caught in a pedophile situation. Does his neighbors know that? No. But I could go to his neighbors, and I can make sure his neighbors know that. Don't you understand what I'm saying? It could all be, two people can play the same game.
Yeah, and when I go out in public and I go walking, what they do is they'll create street theater situations and mock me, like the way they create the street theater. It'll be like mocking me looking for help. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the people who pay the people the prepaid credit cards and do it, they'll set up these weird scenarios, and they'll be like mocking me looking for help because they're stalking me, and they know I don't want to be stalked.
But did you ever think to maybe, go to if you know the person that's stalking you, right? You know one of them. Because I went to one of their neighbors, and I told them, this is what this guy is. Did you ever think to go to their neighbors and tell them what's going on
No, I did. I never thought about that, but the area I live
Why not?
The area I live at, that these people have been stalking me. I don't want nothing to do with none of them. But I know people, the area I live at, even the stores, I know they know about my YouTube videos, because I was going, even the stores I go to, like some of the people that work there, they'll be knowing about how I'm being gang stalked, because they'll be participating in gang stalking me, and then they know they've seen some of my YouTube videos about it. So like a lot of the people know I'm being stalked.
but it's a different story when they get embarrassed in front of their neighbors and their friends because they were gang stalking you.
Right.
And you have footage of it. And you have proof of it.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, I got on my laptop here. I have different footage of your son gang stalking me. And, you know, I really thought I'd come to you first because I really don't want to go to the authorities. But it is a federal offense. You know, I have paperwork that proves it's a federal offense. You know, here it is a federal offense, and show them that and say, look, and these people may think twice about actually doing it again.
Yeah, and the caliber, and you know what, Donna? Like, the caliber of people changes. That I notice depending on where you go, like like the types of people change. That gang stalk you, like, huh?
I know, you're right.
Like if you go, like the area I'm at, I don't even go. I try to avoid everybody, and I go to different areas, and the gang stalking still happens, but it's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to see if anybody has any ideas of solutions to see what might work. Experimental, you know.
Yeah, because they're constantly experimenting on us.
Right.
They're doing experiments on us. Like, I'll never forget how one time I went to go eat pancakes at IHOP, and I got my food drugged, and after I got my food drugged, I was leaving, and the person who was doing the manager there, or the person who was at the door greeting people, they told me, "I hope you enjoyed your experience."
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. I wanted to kick that fuck.
You never thought to go back there and confront that person.
I wanted to kick that fucking pancake table.
No. I mean, wait for them to come outside. You know when it's closing time. And wait for them to be leaving and go out to them. Scare the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And say, hey, look, you know, you told me my experience, and, you know, I got drugged here. You were part of that. Did you know about this?
Yeah.
You know, nobody does anything. That's I think, part of this whole thing. Nobody really does anything.
That was back in the spring of 2016. I was being gang stalked so bad in the area I was at, I left and I went to Phoenix for a couple weeks to try to clear my mind, and that's when I started developing my courses to be gang stalking. But I wasn't used to dealing with gang stalking as I am now. I was just learning more about what it was, and I didn't, you know what I'm saying? These people were stalking me, and I got my food drugged, and I didn't make a big deal about it, but I should have. And I wanted to kick that fucking pancake table over so bad. Like, I'm serious. Like to this day, I have dreams about it. Like, I have flashbacks about stuff like that. Like, I'll just be sitting here and I'll remember how all these people drugged me and used electronic weapons on me and did all these things to me, and nobody ever tried to come. I had to hide inside my mother's house for a month, and everybody was laughing at me. No one's ever tried to help me do anything. It's always been fuck me, leave me on the ground for dead. You know, and it's horrible. I just hope nobody else has to go through what I've been through. That's what motivates me for my courses, is to help people. But, you know, it's like, to this day, they turn people. I see now how they turn people. I know now how they're making people go out and do shootings and stuff. You know, I'm glad I'm not one of those fucking people, but I see exactly how it works. Huh? Yeah, that's what I should, you know what, that's exactly what I should have did. I should have took a piece of the food, a piece of the pancakes, or I should have took a piece of the pizza or something. I should have took something and put it in a little container and saved it and took it to, like, you know, took it to a personal somebody who can look into it. Took it to some sort of laboratory somewhere and kept analyzing and figuring it out.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do now. I'm just gonna take some whatever because I feel like I'm being drugged.
Right.
I'm gonna take a sample of the food and just have it tested.
Right. Yeah, it's.
You're gonna think about them breaking in your house and drugging your food.
Yeah, they haven't done that to me.
I don't necessarily think they're drugging my food. I think they're spitting in my food and like I don't know. I think they're not putting drugs. I think they're putting bodily fluids in my food. I mean, that's what I feel.
Well, that wouldn't be a reaction right away. That would be a reaction within 10 years. But
Yeah.
I just think,
People cannot be human who's doing this. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's evil.
Yeah. Yeah, and then at the end of it all, after all this happens to you, at the end of it all, somebody might try to tell you that you're paranoid or delusional. After all these people have done all these horrible things to you, at the end of it all, they try to turn you into the bad person and tell you you're the one that's paranoid or delusional. After you've been stalked and drugged.
So we go back to the old adage, like I said, you need witnesses around all the time, so you just can't be alone. You're going to be deemed mentally ill, or they could possibly take your life.
Hey, I got somebody. Oh, I got somebody. That Sasha woman. She wants to join in. Is that okay?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna call her right now. Oh, hey, I was calling the wrong number. Sorry. I'm tripping. I don't know what happened. I'm tripping. Hold on a second.
Here.
The Text Now subscriber you are trying to reach is not available. Please leave your message.
Hey, are you there?
Okay.
Is there?
Hello.
Yeah, she didn't pick up for some reason. I'm gonna try to. But I talked to this woman like a few days ago, and since then we've been trying to get something together, and it seems like every time it's time to do it that she's busy or something, so. But she's.
Is that the same one you was trying to call yesterday?
Okay, hold on a second. Hey, that's my other number. I'm trying to call you into the conference right now. Okay, I'm gonna call you back right now from the other number. Okay. Just try to see if you can answer it this time. Alright. Okay, that was her. I'm gonna call back right now.
Where's she from?
Michigan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is everybody on here?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, what's up?
All over your whole body.
I'm glad it worked. Are we on conference?
Oh man.
Yeah. Hey, this is Sasha. This is Sasha. She's being gang stalked, and she's from Michigan, like me.
Hi, Sasha. Hi. What's your name?
I'm Darvisha. I'm Shauna.
Oh, there's four. There's all four of us.
Three.
Here. That's cool. Oh, there's three?
Yeah, is Donna there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. It's me. Donna from Florida, and then Kashana from.
Dolly.
Doc.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, go ahead and speak up and talk to her and ask her, who wants to get started, who wants to lead.
Okay, so because I have a really bad connection. It's kind of choppy right now. I just want to make sure that there's four people on here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how did your gang stalking start?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
South Michigan?
Yes.
Damn.
Hear that?
Oh my
You
goodness.
guys hear that?
Yeah. What is that?
My network is down. There's a stingray down the street. And this is being done intentionally, I'm sure.
Oh wow.
What is it?
There's a stingray down the street. A stingray is an artificial antenna that the police and sheriff and FBI and CIA use to redirect your network.
Damn.
So it can filter out all of your in and outcoming.
Oh wow, I hear the static in my phone too. Wow.
I got a call.
Yeah, that's definitely stingray.
So they're trying to ruin the connection so you can't talk, basically.
That's what they do. They filter all of my incoming and outgoing communication, emails, text messages,
Oh wow.
phone calls.
This is crazy. Like,
Wow.
You're doing too much.
And now traffic is picked up in front of my house.
Are you outside?
No, I'm inside, but I live on flat road, so it's been very easy for them to do like the noise and the street theater.
so what you think started your gang stalking?
It started a year ago, almost a year ago to date, that I noticed. I was commuting. I lost my house during a divorce. We had to flee because my ex-husband was very abusive towards us. And I was commuting. I kept the kids in their original school. So with the traveling, I noticed that I was being followed all the time. And I actually saw the cars they would, because I would take so many different roads, I saw them communicating with their headlights. Basically, it was like, you take that road and I'll take this road. And I noticed that I would take the back roads and I just couldn't get rid of these cars. And the more I noticed, the worse it got. It was like a movie. Like, I would call the FBI.
Was you researching stuff? Like, was you researching, like, stuff like about the government, stuff like that?
Well, I thought it was Homeland Security. And then I have friends that work for Homeland, and they were like, nope, that's not us. You're not that important, and that's not how we do things. So they said that doesn't sound like us. But my ex-husband had threatened that he was going to have the FBI get me because I filed for child support. So basically what they're doing in the program that they've done to us is mimics an FBI program that it's a technique that they do use. And after I was researching, because I didn't know what gang stalking was, I'd never heard of it before. So I started researching all the different occurrences that were happening. They broke into my home. They were constantly following us all the time. I reached out and tried to make reports, and they would ignore me. And there was like some loud tone that I would hear after I would reach out, and it was so crippling that I like fell to my knees in front of my kids. I would get like threatening emails, like the headings on the emails would be really. There was just a lot of stuff that was happening. I knew that my house was capped because everywhere I went, they knew.
they would do the street theater where like I would have a conversation in private in my home, and I would go to the library, and then a group of people would walk up and they would mimic the whole conversation, and it was just there was a lot of things that happened. They broke my car, like they would trick the alarm on my car,
Yeah.
and I couldn't figure out. I would go outside to turn it off, and then I would turn it off, and I'd go back inside, and then it would be going off again. And I have a Honda, so eventually the mechanic said that they locked the engine. But what happened was is one day I just got up to take my son somewhere, and the car was just completely dead. And then 4 days later, my family we pulled up in the driveway, and the car was on. Just stuff like that. They would show me that they had been in my house. Whoever has the tap on my home, they're telling my ex-husband everything. The police refused to take reports from me, and when they did one report from me, I could tell that she was behind it all. I know everybody was behind it. She made me look like I was like a side case, so I thought, okay, well, I'm not making any more reports. But when I did go to the FBI, they opened an investigation, and he said, well, you need to email us whenever these things happen. So the first email that I sent, I had only mentioned in that one email that I felt that the sheriff department was involved with this because the sheriff is the closest thing to the FBI on a civil level, and I did see a hybrid snake, or it was like something of that nature, crawl out from underneath my truck. And so I sent him this email, and then like 2 days later, Community Mental Health shows up at my door, and they want to quote-unquote mediate the situation between me and the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
But when they came, they represented themselves as being from the FBI, and I said, well, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I would have sent somebody to the house, and I know that they were for the sheriff department because I never told anybody that I felt the sheriff department had anything to do with this, so I know that it's the sheriff department that has the tap on my network, right? Because who else would have known?
Wow.
So they tried to get me to sign papers, and I saw the heading, and it said CMH, and I said, well, you know what? It's a federal offense to imitate an FBI agent, and I'm not signing shit from Community Mental Health. You are crazy for thinking that I'm so stupid. And then I told them they could leave. So I sent an email to the FBI about that situation, and then like a couple hours later, CMH shows back up to my house. Are you sure you're not crazy? You know, are you sure you're okay? And all this stuff. I'm fine.
Wow.
You know, like,
Wow.
So what's your family thinking about it? What's your family saying about it? Is they thinking that you're delusional and stuff like that, paranoid? Like,
well, no, because the kids, see, it's just me and the kids here now. My parents have passed. I have a brother in New Mexico and a sister in California, and I come from a heavy political background, so they don't really ask me questions over the phone, and it's not anything that I'm just going to elaborate with on the phone. You know, I did try to make mention of it to my sister, and she's a psychologist. She's like, "Are you okay?" But then she did believe me because she knows I'm a very logical thinker, you know. But I think that they got to my sister too. And the kids, I have three teenagers, and one of them drives, and I have three younger ones also. And the teenagers, my whole family knows we're being gang stalked. They have all had the occurrences. They see it happening.
understand it.
Oh, they see it. It's so bad that even their friends see it.
Wow.
And it's been going on for a long time, and it seems like the harder you fight, the more...
Yeah, they come with more stuff, yeah.
Like, so, basically, I have no constitutional rights. I have nothing here. They've got the neighbors stalking me now. I think because it's like they've put me through different layers of the system.
Yeah,
Basically,
definitely.
they masked it and said that it was a police investigation, like an inquiry, so that they could have the count. I have been gang stalked by the veterans, all the locals, the school, even in the school, they gang stalk me. School administration. I've seen U.S. Marshals, the water commissioner, anybody under a municipal job here. Just everywhere I go, they treat me like I just went to Walmart. They treat my family like we're like thieves or something, and I've never done anything wrong. You know,
Yes,
I'm
that's
not.
the thing too. I've never did anything wrong either.
Wow. You said when you go into the school with your children, they're gang stalking you there.
They're getting. I actually had a secretary try and she tried to sabotage the enrollment of my children. Every school there have been gang stalkers. They'll have people walk in there and do the street theater in front of me with school administration. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
Wow.
Every school has done this. I know the thing is I am very sensitive and I read off people, so I know.
Me too. I'm the same way too. Yeah. So you have like a spiritual gift?
That's what I was told. I was told that I went to a psychic November of year before last. Because I was like, okay, this is crazy. You know, like I've been having these same dreams since I was little. I can hear people. I know more. Like if somebody has a conversation with me, I will know what it is that they mean to say, and they're not saying
Yeah,
it.
I'm the same way too. I can read people really good. Really good.
Yeah. So
I can
you know,
feel out their
oh,
energy.
Yeah. And I know that it's my ex-husband who started this, because he's also a first responder, and I just think that they just stick together, that the unit is so tight, you know, because it's the fire department, the medic, everybody, you know. But now that they're like, okay, well, he's not going to get custody of the children, because I was awarded full physical and legal custody. I don't know why they're still gang stalking me. I don't know if it's because they're afraid to turn their back on me, because they're like, what is this woman going to do? Or if it's just like, I'm like a project. Because when I researched all of the occurrences that happened, it was in direct correlation with the Homeland Defense Program that was written by a Dr. Gunderson with the Veterans Memorial Hospital here.
Yeah, Ted Gunderson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's verbatim. So I don't know, and then I started researching it more, and see, the thing about Michigan is it's such a conservative state that things like this don't get out like they do in California. They shut it down really quickly. But Michigan is one of the number one gang stalking places in the nation. And a lot of it comes out of this area. I know that, Jamil, you're like up in northern Michigan, or are you in western Michigan? Because I know up north they'll gang stalk you too.
Yeah. I live in the Muskegon area
Okay.
of Michigan.
So, yeah, that's what they do. Because a lot of them are like veterans, so they know these programs, but they shut it down here. And I think I don't know if I'm like a lab rat or.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that they want to use me to do some type of project or something like that.
Yeah, well, see what happens to me.
I'm thinking the
See
same.
what's
'Cause
happening.
I'm very spiritual. And it seems like all the time that it coming.
Yeah, I'm extremely spiritual, and I know what's going on this planet. I've been studying alternative research for years, and I was a veteran alternative researcher on the internet for years, and I've been getting gang stalked since the summer of 2015, and I've had my food, drug, and electronical weapons used on me, and cars blasting at me like they're going to hit me and kill me. I had to hide in my house for a month and beg my mother to take out the trash. I've had people stalk me repeatedly, multiple times a day. I've had people I don't even know stalking me all over the place: street theater, mimic, brightening, color coding, gaslighting. All the stores I go into, they're always stalking me, and I had to go to a psychiatric institution for 10 days after being signed involuntarily in. They tried to force drugs on me, and I had to get out of that. I had to get out of that without taking the drugs. I had to keep, and my life's been hell. I've been going through it for almost 3 years. I know all about it. Huh?
Sorry, I had to.
Yeah, I've spoken to close to 60 different people. I've spoken to close to 60 different people being gang stalked, And I was the first person in the world to come out with courses on how to beat gang stalking in June of 2016. No one ever did it. And I had clients and courses, and these people have been doing character assassinations on me and sabotaging my life, and they'll do anything. I've had my food drugged so many times I can't even count, at restaurants I eat at, and it's been a trip. And you know, yeah, I've been doing a lot to help people that are going through this, and luckily I've been able to make some good progress.
What's the solution?
Huh?
Sorry.
What is any solutions? Any answers?
No, there's no, that suicide tends to be like the common goal amongst these things, but the solution is that you have to, for one, what Jamil is doing is priceless, because if you know what to expect, then that makes you feel more comfortable, and especially when it first begins, to have that kind of information at the tip of your fingers is very, I mean, it's priceless for your mental stability. But another thing is the whole goal of this is to get you to be so psychologically overwhelmed that you're either deemed incompetent or you end your life. But it doesn't have to be that way, because there's nothing that they can directly do that you can blame them for. If you say, they're following me around and that is driving me crazy, no, they aren't driving you crazy. You are driving yourself crazy. You are not prioritizing your thoughts. You can look at them and say, okay, they're gang stalking me. I'm not alone. They're trying to drive me crazy. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. So you can just accept it as an occurrence and put it in a box and put it in a mental tablet and store it in the back of your head. Because there's nothing that they can do. There's nothing that you can do to get them to stop. But you can acknowledge it and put it away. And eventually it'll go away, because we choose to acknowledge that they're there. If we don't acknowledge that they're there, then they won't be there. Because ultimately, the human mind is the most powerful thing in this world, and we are the creators of our situation. There's a reason why they're spending so much money.
Yeah.
Gang stalking.
Well, one person, yes.
And it's because there's something appealing. They're spending millions to do this. There's something about you that's appealing.
There you go. Appealing?
Appealing. And if you weren't appealing, then they wouldn't be spending so much time, energy, and resources on you. There is something about you that they know that you can overcome this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can do it.
It's basically something they want.
I was in Chicago.
Here,
I was in Chicago, and they brought out some old Vietnam helicopters and stuff from like some Black Hawks and old helicopters, and they were bringing helicopters out and stuff, mimicking me and doing all sorts of stuff, and it's like at the time I didn't really understand gang stalking, and it was terrifying a little bit, because you're one person, but you have whole cities transforming itself just to participate in the gang stalking, and it's mind blowing.
yeah. But another part of it is you have to forgive them. Because a lot of them don't know that they're gang stalking you. Because they don't have, they're being paid to do these little things, and it seems innocuous to them. Like, okay, here's $200 to drive down this street 3 times. We're doing a test. They could be telling them anything. You could have done this to someone once in your life and not have known about it. So you have to forgive them. And if you can't do it because it's the best thing to do, you have to do it for yourself. Because it'll destroy destroy your goodness and your spirit, and you will become a very hateful person, and then they won.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Then you're just like them. The people that know what they're doing to you, then you're going to be just as much of a deviant as they are.
Yeah, they want to make you like them.
Yes.
So then what about the people that have, in this last year, for example, have become a statistic and are no longer with us because they were in a mental hospital because they gave them the wrong medicine or died on the operating table for an experiment, or they got hit by a car, or they got drugged and they drugged the wrong amounts, or they fell into one of those categories that can end your life, because multiple things can end your life.
I agree. And that's why part of this is collectively everybody has a piece to it. And unfortunately, their piece cost them their life. But at the same time, they don't have to be forgotten. They're a piece of a huge, grand puzzle. And they can't be forgotten.
Right, that's true. That's true. It's a piece of a much. Everybody in this conference is like a piece of a much larger puzzle. And like Sasha, you were saying that you started going to all these different government agencies and trying to get people to tell you something, and nobody could really help you. And it sounds like it kind of made it worse a little bit. One thing I discovered a long time ago, and I'm going off of my conspiracy research as well, is I think this stuff isn't ran by any mainstream organization or group. I think it's like the core of it is like more like black operational type of stuff. Like it's not an huh?
Okay, for sure, yeah. It's run by people that were actual black ops before. I mean,
Yeah.
private security organization, and the police are using them because the police are under code, but people no longer work under the police department code, so they can do all those things.
Yeah,
The police are not.
they were saying people have been talking about that New World Order stuff, and they were saying like, yeah, they were saying decades ago how they were going to do a New World Order. I mean, it's even on the dollar bill, Novus Colectus Seclorum. That's Latin for basically New World Order. I mean, they were saying this back in back in the 1700s. They were talking about this, and so basically they do have a New World Order, and all the governments and countries around the world are underneath the umbrella of the corporations who are running it, and those are the guys who are pulling the strings. They got what they wanted. They got a New World Order, and the corporations are the ones running it all. Now there's nowhere in the world you can go without them having the ultimate authority. They got the authority, and they say what goes. They got what they wanted, and so and you can't see it. You can't see the people. You don't know who they are, and it's all shadow stuff. And I've been getting little tastes and little glimpses of it, and it's crazy. It's really crazy. They can do anything. I'm not even a bit. They did gang stalking assignments on me on live TV on national television before. They can do anything. They control everything.
They can change the weather too.
Yep. They can change. And I think this stuff is connected to extraterrestrial technology. Myself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think.
It has something to do with a spiritual, like awakening or something like that. I think because all of us spiritual, all of us are real spiritual. And, the stuff we going through, it's like it's something that they want from us. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's spiritual.
Yeah, it's a spiritual thing. It's more spiritual than anything else.
Yeah.
So it seems like they target people that are like non-conformist. Like people that walk their own path or tend
Oh, yeah.
to leaders and have a presence about them so that others listen and follow.
Yeah, definitely. You have an influence on people because I've always been like that all my life. Yeah, you have influence on people.
Right. I got the feeling they might have put like some of that GHB stuff It drugged me with some of that That sounds like some GHB type drug type stuff. That stuff where where you're all dizzy and stuff. I was passing.
Roofies, yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. And I was using my jump rope, and I was still jump roping, and I was so lightheaded because it makes your blood pressure go up, and I was so lightheaded I felt like I was going to pass out. And I was walking around. I was still passing out my flyers drugged, teaching people about gangs. I was walking up to people drugged after I was stalked and drugged by the people stalking me. I was still out there teaching people about beating gang stalking, passing out my flyers and stuff. You know, it's a really rough life. And the people who gang stalk us got a real easy life. You know, they can just sit back and relax and stalk people, you know, and drug people. It's pretty easy.
But I have noticed the people that they have following. I'm not really sure that they know exactly what's going on. I just know that they've all been told a lie because they have their goal was to assassinate my character. But a lot of them, when they stand next to me, they feel like deviants. Like,
Yeah.
I know they have this empty presence, like they're living a very despairing lifestyle.
Yeah, they're deviant. They're
definitely.
deviant. They're living a dishonest life, and they know what they've done to you. They know what heinous crimes they've done. They probably know more of what they've done to you than you know what's been done to you anyway. You know what I'm saying? So they're sitting back smiling like they really got away with something, laughing about it. And, you know, and that's okay because what you put out comes back. As the wave goes out, the wave comes back in. So, you know, you read what you sell. You read what you sell.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Well, I pointed out before that they are using a lot of mentally ill people and disabled people too. And that's so that if they lose it in the process, you can't really press charges on them. They're already covered, and it's, you know, they're manipulating, using the saddest people in society.
Yeah, they use mentally handicapped people. They use mentally disturbed people okay. When you think of mentally handicapped people, sometimes somebody can be like slow and messed up and handicapped, but you won't know it by looking at them. Sometimes I've got a chance to hear the people who've been stalking me for years in person, and I've got a chance to see them, and some of them are mentally handicapped and disturbed. And now I see how they've been able to. Now I see why they were doing the things they were doing, or how they were doing it, because a mentally disturbed, handicapped person views the world differently, and they
So
go.
the people that stalking us are handicapped, you said?
They're using handicap. They're using narcissists and mentally slow handicapped people to carry out the stalking because they know a mentally handicapped person views, you know, they're handicapped, so that they'll be able to, they can make them do it, and then the people that are doing it aren't smart enough to know anything. They want people to do the stalking for them, so they find stupid people and handicapped people to do it who don't have an interest in knowing more than what their position is, or they can be led to do stuff. That
Like, let me give you an example. I used to go around taking care of very disabled patients. Well, I had this one patient I took care of for years. And I'll be honest with you, she is definitely possessed, but she's really smart. So one day I came in after years, and I treated this woman like family, by the way. She started acting really outrageous towards me, but this one day I came in, my head was turned, and I was looking down at the table, and she came in through.
yeah, huh?
And she knocked me. She rammed me like a football player and knocked me on my back. And I laid there. I couldn't believe it. And I laid there, and I'm like, get somebody, get an emergency person up here. I can't get back up. I was flat on my back. I mean, she knocked me.
Wow.
I wasn't gonna take care of her anymore. And they said I had to go back once or twice. And got somebody. She continued to try. I turned my face and I put her elbow in my eye. So I refused to go back there after that. But that's an example right there.
Yeah.
I
Hey.
sociopaths, some of the stuff that I've seen, but I've noticed that they use a lot lower income people and minorities.
Yeah, they use a lot of minorities and different sorts of races and stuff, and all sorts of stuff. They use white people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people.
I've been noticing that too. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're black, they might have somebody who they might have white people mainly stalk you. If you're white, they might try to use black people to stalk you. If you're Mexican, they might try to use a different sorts. They've used everything on me. I've had first they were using when I first started getting gang stalk. I went to Phoenix. They were using black people, but I was going to the black neighborhoods. I was going into the projects and stuff. I didn't even know anything about the ghetto in Phoenix, and I was going into the projects and stuff, telling people about gang stalking. And I was telling them we got to talking about like Malcolm X and the Panthers and stuff in the '60s, and then they started using white people like racist white people to stalk me, and then I started talking to the white people. Like I didn't care. I don't care what somebody's race is, and I started talking to the white. I started talking, and so then they started like they'll try to use whatever they think you'll be uncomfortable with.
It doesn't make me uncomfortable. I just think that it has to do with lack of education because and I'm a minority, and I come from a very educated family, but I know that like within history, we tend to minimize abuse when it comes to like domestic violence and things like that because family is family, you know?
Right. I know what you're saying.
But I was lucky to have educated parents, and I have been educated, and it's not acceptable for me. But what they do out here is they tend to prey on the things people hate the most. Like, I don't think I can hear me.
Hey.
Yeah, I can hear you.
But,
Yeah, I can hear you too.
okay. Well, I had to apply for assistance because I got hurt, and that's how the whole thing started. I had to apply for assistance, and that's when I filed for child support because I was hurt so bad I couldn't even stand up on my own, And so what they did was they went and they told like Republicans that I was lazy and didn't want to work and leached off the government, which is I'm very much a hard worker, and I love working, and that is not the case. And then they told the veterans I was a terrorist, and they told people in the schools that I wouldn't allow my poor ex-husband to see the kids, and, they told firefighters that I lied about domestic violence to gain benefits,